Hey, this is Lance McGowan and
Molly Simpson.
today we're going to talk about part 8 of the Young Living versus doTERRA lawsuit outcome. So if you haven't watched the other parts, make sure to go do that because you'll get way more insight on the kind of full picture of everything. And just to make sure, we're all on the same page, the purpose of these videos is to give you the facts, right? So we got before, there was outdated information, there was a lack of information, there was inaccurate information, and there was misperceptions of all of those things. And so, it's important for us to kind of set the record straight with regards to giving you all that information. And another big reason why we do these videos is because of the demand. And so whether that's at local classes where people are asking us, hey, what's the difference between Young Living and doTERRA? Or people are, online, asking, hey, I'm thinking about doTERRA, or I'm thinking about Young Living, or I'm thinking about essential oils, or I don't believe in essential oils, and I don't believe in either company, so it's so important for us to provide information and resources to give you a good starting point with regards to your wellness journey, whatever situation you're in. And so that's really the reason why we're doing all these videos, and to make sure that it's clear that people know what actually happened, the outcome, right? That's the name of all these series, so it's important that you get that. Closure is important.
Yes, let's have that closure.
All right, so this is actually from the Young Living announcement on their website here, or it's also known as the press release. That is very similar to what doTERRA released with regards to the naming structure. But this is from Young Living, and they said, our mission is to share the benefits of essential oils and other natural products containing essential oils with people all over the world.
Young Living has evolved as a company over the last 20 years and is much bigger than any individual.
Okay. It takes a very talented executive team to manage an operation that has more than 2,600 employees, 4 million members since founding, 15 corporate and partner farms around the world, 13 offices operating in 20 markets, and products shipping to 133 countries. And so this is kind of more of the Young Living side about how their company operates, because doTERRA provided that on their press release at the bottom. Basically, here's our company in a snapshot here. And so, yes, this kind of touches on a little bit of the corporate and partner farms, right? And so they do mention that they have both. So we never said that they didn't, right? But I think the amount of feedback that we've gotten locally, but also online with regards to Young Living owns their farms, or all their farms, was definitely one of the stimuluses for us to kind of do the research too, and kind of try to search for that information. And yeah, we know that Young Living doesn't own all their farms. But they are, under that seed to seal umbrella from what was stated on their website. And so it's something to consider, but we also have some top 6 factors to consider. And, also I get some comments of folks that are like, well, yeah, but guess who some of these doTERRA people, executives and distributors came from, right? They came from the company that's been around for 20 years and is in 20 markets and 133 countries and stuff like that. And it's like, well, yeah, that's fine. But why did they leave, right? There's a reason why they left, because they were with the company for a while, right? And so, and I know you can actually go on LinkedIn to look at their profiles to see what their work history was. Like, you can do that for Dave Sterling. You can do that for a number of other distributors and people that put their information on there. So you can get that information of their work history in their past. And, I'll include some of that information below so you can kind of get that information as well, so you can get to know the people. Because a lot of times people are like, well, look who they came from, right? But it's like, well, why did they leave?
Right. Well, we all have a history, and we all evolve,
Sure.
and we have a journey. And so sometimes we know when it's time to close that chapter and start a new one.
Yes, I know that's the case for me when I worked for a large food and beverage company and decided that their values and products and beliefs did not align with mine, and I needed to make a change and focus on the natural and focus on health and wellness, and not just pumping, junk food into people's bodies. Or, obviously you have the choice to buy something or not, but I didn't just want to support that movement. I wanted to support the essential oil and natural movement instead.
Awesome. Moving forward, we remain focused on growing the essential oils movement as the world's leading essential oil company.
And this was on Young Living's announcement page here, and they actually underlined this part. I didn't underline this, so I just underlined it so you saw that this was something that they wanted to put extra emphasis on. And it's kind of like what doTERRA says, we're the have the world's highest quality essential oils. And then Young Living says we're the world's leading essential oils company. So, I know some people who are not into essential oils at all will be like, those are marketing terms, or, those are, unverified, or, how do you measure that and stuff like that. Well, the companies make those statements, and it's up to the individual to get that information, to verify that, whether that's by number of distributors, number of customers, more importantly, the practices that they do from a farming and quality testing standpoint, how they treat their employees with regards to fair trade and a lot of other things. I mean, there's a lot of things that could make a leading company or the best quality. So those are kind of very subjective terms. So it's important for the individual to kind of get that information, education, and research to come to their own verification of that statement.
Right. And I would agree, probably, saying that they led the way. They led the way. They have provided the best quality when they started 20 years ago. But, things don't always stay the same. Things change, and quality changes, and organizations change all the time. And so that's why we want to do updates and what's currently going on right now.
Yeah, and when you look at, like, some people who say, well, look who, how doTERRA started, well, look how they're doing. They're doing amazing from a company size standpoint, over $1 billion in revenue, and projected growth is, billions. And, just the number of, they have, almost 5 million at the time of this video, almost 5 million, wholesale members worldwide. And so on their press release, it was like 3 million or something. So it was a lot lower. But yeah, they've grown a lot. And so that is just, and they've grown in such a short amount of time compared to Young Living. So it took Young Living 20 years to hit that mark, and it took doTERRA about 8. So, that is, information that people, when they hear it, they're like, well, look who they came from. But it's like, well, look how they're doing. So what they're doing is helping people with solutions that are natural. And so it's working. Obviously, when you're over $1 billion company, you have over 5 million customers worldwide. I mean, that's huge. So it's a good affirmation that they've built their business based on integrity and honesty, and trying to make sure that they focus on fair trades and focus on being transparent, right, about their practices.
Right. And like I said, I mean, Young Living did lead the way, and they did have and do have some high quality essential oils, and people have gotten results, obviously, or they wouldn't be where they are at today in the essential oil movement and world. But we're just looking at some of the facts that have caused this split in the first place, and see where, so people, again, can decide for themselves versus quality, and also the, integrity of the company, and most importantly, the integrity of the individuals themselves that run the company and make those big decisions that impact what's in your bottle when you get your oil.
Right, exactly.
And it impacts really the whole world, because of from the growers to the farmers, the growers, and to the customers, and all the employees involved in the whole process.
Right, exactly. Just continuing the statement, we will continue to demand only the best for our brand, our products, and our customers. All right, and so that basically wraps up the, Young Living announcement about the breach of contract that wasn't a breach of contract, according to the outcome of the case, which we covered in previous videos that you can check out. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of an overview, and you kind of see what both companies are focused on. And it's interesting to see their response to the outcome, but also what led up to it. And I think at the end of the day, for me, it's reassuring to know that the 13 allegations that Young Living brought to the table were not able to be found valid because of a lack of evidence. And yes, Young Living did not do it because they waited too long, basically. But at the same time, it's important to know how the court system works with regards to that, and bring whatever it is that you're trying to bring to the table to prove what, the proof of evidence. And so I think that outcome is really important, even though in their press release they say the outcome doesn't really reflect what really happened. But if it really happened, then you should have the evidence to bring that to the table, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like chicken or the egg, or running in circles there. But for me, I would just focus on the outcome, which is the purpose of this whole video series, which is doTERRA was not found to have any wrongdoing in those allegations.
And I'm sure, you know, both sides are happy that, you know, all the court is over, all this, you know, trial is over, you know, I mean, it costs a lot of money for the public, and, you know, there was all this he said, she said information going back and forth. Now we have, you know, the unbiased facts based on the court system, so that we can just move on with, you know, choosing which essential oil company is best for you and your family.
Yeah, and that's important because, like, some people are like, well, why don't you guys just focus on doTERRA or focus on your own business or focus on it? Well, we couldn't because we were getting questions about both. And so now we can move on. So we encourage everyone else to know the facts and then make an educated decision so that they can move on as well. So that's right.
You know, because we got so many questions, we had to do the research. We had to take the time to do the research. So now we have that information, we have that education that we can teach others. So, you know, it pushed us to want to, or to almost have to, in order to give answers to people that were asking us the difference. So now we know, because we did the work. Not everyone wants to do the work, and some people just want to, you know, pick what they want or do what they want without the education behind it. But for the people that do want the education, then these videos can help them.
Yeah, I mean, ignorance is bliss, but, you know, the truth will set you free. And so that's what we want to focus on. And to kind of close here, there's the top 6 factors to consider as well. And the first one is the corporately owned farm percent of total. And so you're probably like, man, you guys sound like a broken record. We've heard this so many times, but these are the main things that, you know, that trial really hinged upon. And so knowing these builds, you know, the whole, you know, foundation or a lack of foundation in all that was said. And for Young Living, that is a question mark. And doTERRA, it is 0% because they don't own any of their farms.
All right. And corporate farm volume percent of total. Young Living, again, is a question mark because they said in the email to me that that was proprietary information that they would not disclose. And doTERRA is a 0% because they don't own any of their farms.
Yeah, and you can see, you know, Malie reading that email in part 5, and so you can kind of get an overview of what was said. And this is just really important because, you know, some people ask, why do you even point these out? You know, Young Living has never said that they own all their own farms, but although I would hear from Young Living folks that they do own their farms. And so for me, it's like, well, I want to get the facts myself. I want to know, right? And so we don't know still, but at least we know that they don't own all their own farms based on, you know, the email and then also some of the information that we've seen online on their website, seed2seal.com, and, you know.
Very small percent, and the output is very small. But it sounded really cool, and to me it sounded cool. We own, you know, we like to own things, right? We own our own farms. We control the quality. But looking deeper into it, you know, it's not quite as black and white as that for both companies.
Right, exactly. All right, and the partnership farm volume percent of total is a question mark for Young Living because we don't know the corporately owned farm percent total. You can find, you know, do process of elimination, but we just don't know that. With doTERRA, it's 100%. So they partner with growers around the world, and it's 100% based on that information.
Essential oil exclusivity percent of total. Young Living does not offer that information on their website or to anyone that I know of, what percent that they have exclusive contracts with any of their partner growers. Obviously, their own farms, they probably have exclusivity, but as we mentioned, that percent of their own farms could be as low as 1% of the essential oil output. So that's a question mark. And then doTERRA does have an 84% exclusive contract with all the growers that they partner with, that those growers only sell their essential oils to doTERRA only.
Yeah, and so there's about 16% that is offered from an oil standpoint to doTERRA's competitors, but at the same time, doTERRA provides that transparency, which is important, on the source2you.com website. And then they also, you know, as a consumer or customer or a wellness advocate, that you are getting a majority of your oils from an exclusive source, which helps ensure that that quality is going to be there as well. And so it's one thing to say, hey, we do testing and we have, you know, farms and we do this and that, But this is the thing that really kind of builds on the previous three things that we mentioned, because some people are like, hey, why you keep bringing this up, the percentage owned? And because, for this reason right here, they all build on each other. They're kind of like building blocks.
Right.
The other really important thing is to be able to verify the bottle batch number for quality. And Young Living, that's a big question mark right now at the time of this video. And with doTERRA is yes, you can go to source2u.com and there's a option where you can go to GCMS testing and look at the bottom of the bottle. And there's some white numbers on there if it hasn't already been rubbed off because of use. But yeah, you can go there, type that in and get a report. And that will tell you basically the chemical constituent profiles. And I always say, like, you got to be kind of a chemist or chemistry major to kind of understand it, but at least you have the information of that batch, not just the oil, but of that batch, which is really great from a quality standpoint. And that is going to, you know, like I said before, companies can say, hey, we are the world's leader in essential oils, or have the world's highest quality essential oils, or, and here I visited their farms and here's all their tests. But can you verify that? Is there a way to objectively, fact-based, verify that information in a way that you can have something, a PDF or a piece of paper, and print it off or look at it and be like, yes, okay, so here's that. So then I can take that and can try to compare it apples to apples, or apples to oranges, or apples to rocks with another brand if they do that, which most essential oil companies don't. And so that's definitely something that does set doTERRA apart in that regard.
Right. True. Fair trade wages for all stakeholders. So Young Living has a question mark. We don't know. We do know that there was an issue with the fair trade between a female versus a male in their executive department, and that was part of what caused the split between these four executives, or at least the two, Emily Wright and Dave Sterling, in the very beginning, especially for Emily, because she was the female that was not getting paid the same amount of wages for the same position that the men in the company were getting. So question mark there, because they don't offer that information with their other employees or their partners around the world. doTERRA does proudly state and let everyone know that fair trade wages are paid across the board for their employees, their executives, and most importantly for their growers, especially the ones in the third world countries that could be easily taken advantage of by, you know, a consumer or a corporation, and offer them much lower wages because they really don't have much options for what they get.
Yeah, and this is really important because at this point, whether you're with Young Living or not, or with doTERRA or not, or on the fence and you're just kind of outside looking in, you have some choices to make. You can use the facts that have been presented in these videos to skirt, you know, things under the rug because you don't like to look at dust. Or you can use those facts to be like, wow, this does change things a little bit with regards to at least my perception of, you know, the company and what's going on or what happened in the trial. And so I do relate that to, again, like a parent that, you know, was found to be a mobster, or, you know, found to do something that was, you know, kind of like, whoa, that's kind of like, what's up with that, right? So you can be like, you know, they're my parent, I love them, I'm loyal, I'm just going to, you know, be with you to the end, which is fine. You can do that. Or you can be like, hey, that was kind of, you know,
shady,
you know, you did some stuff in Las Vegas that
split and go my own way now.
Right? Yeah. And so, you know, when people see this, they, you know, I think the main other point I'm trying to make is just because you don't like something or just don't believe in it doesn't mean it's not true either. Right? I mean, it's so important to look at all the information and try to be as objective as possible, as we're doing. I mean, you see doTERRA right here, but at the same time, we had to do the research. We had to look up all this information. We had to come up with that, and it just affirms my decision to be with doTERRA and affirms Malie's decision to continue to be with doTERRA as well, because of how doTERRA was founded and the integrity and honesty and uprightness that was, you know, that humble beginnings, and now, you know, great continuation of what they were founded on. And so that's kind of the main, you know, kind of like hoorah, if you will, of, you know, kind of my perspective of the whole case. And being able to give this information to people is very powerful because it can be freeing, you know. We're just passionate about educating people and making sure they have all the facts, they have accurate facts, updated facts, and they're perceiving things correctly based on, now perception I can't control, we can't control. You're going to perceive things based on your own reality, how you were raised, your values, your beliefs, you know, all that stuff. So I can't control that, but at least I can give you the other three, which is updated information, you know, as much of the information as possible, and accurate information as well. And try to look at both sides. So we provided the Young Living side, we provided the doTERRA side from a press release kind of standpoint, and have done our own research with regards to calling Young Living and trying to get more information, and with, you know, via email and product supply that you can see in the other videos as well. So we're definitely doing the due diligence so that when people ask us questions, we have an answer. I don't like being able to say, you know, I don't know. I like being able to say, you know what, we did the research, we got the facts, here's these videos that you can watch and, you know, make your own decision, right? I mean, you know what our decision was, and clearly by watching the videos you can understand why as well, but obviously it's up to you as an individual to do what you want to do.
Right. And we will disclose that because Lance is wearing this shirt that says doTERRA, he is not an employee of doTERRA. He is a wellness advocate of doTERRA. He's not paid by doTERRA, neither am I, to do these videos. We did this on our own accord. We did our own research and information, and just to get the facts out there to the general public.
Yeah, and these statements made do not reflect the statements of doTERRA, you know, all that stuff. You can fill in the blanks. You've probably seen enough of that stuff. But yeah, these are just, we just spent our own time just trying to do our own research and completely independent of, you know, doTERRA. And yeah, just want to give you all that fun information. Fun is relative. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click the subscribe button so you can, you know, get more video updates as we get more information. I do have some other videos that we could potentially do as well, or click one of the links in the description box below. We'll have some more websites that you can check out to verify what we have said. So it's important for you to kind of do that for yourself, which is what I want to provide. Not just take things for face value, but actually, you know, dig a little bit and come to your own conclusions and get the facts really on both sides there. And so that information will be provided. And other than that, hey, thanks again for your time and attention.